Hey everyone, what is going on? Elvis here. Today I'm going to be talking about New Legend. Now, I put in around about an hour into the game. I'm level 20, something like that. Enough to really get a feel for the early game in general. Now, to be honest, guys, I came into New Legend expecting what the trailer showed off. And to be honest, not only did I get that in the first hour of playing, but the game has exceeded my expectations for what type of game it is. So, as you guys know, it's an MMO action RPG. I'm going to throw this out there and just say straight away, it doesn't necessarily fill that gap of a Diablo player. You know, if you're a massive Diablo fan and you're looking for something new, I don't know if New Legend will necessarily fill that particular space for you, but this just might be a personal bias for me. I think it's just the fact that I played Diablo games all my life, and trying to fulfill that role in another game is probably going to be impossible. But in saying that, I will say that this game is fantastic so far in its closed beta. So I've been playing exclusively as the Blader. Now, the combat feels very weighty, it feels very smooth, despite the odd animation bugs. For example, when you leap, you will get locked into the spot until the animation finishes. You can't keep walking on. One other thing that I did notice as well is that there is an animation cancelling on your left and right click. So it pretty much means I'm able to do about 30%, I'd say 30%, maybe a little bit higher, extra damage because of the attack speed momentum gained from cancelling the animations, of course. So I kind of like that. I've been having fun with the Blader. Now let's talk about everything else. So basically the skills are introduced to you extremely slowly, but you do level up very quickly. So it will auto-assign new skills just like Diablo, where it'll just put in a new skill where it thinks it should be. And, you know, say at around level, I think 15 or 16, you start to get like some huge burst DPS. You get like the equivalent of the Whirlwind on the Barbarian. Now, there's also a Paragon system, which I believe it's called the Soul system in New Legend, where it's exactly the same as Diablo, identical. The only thing is that it gives you tiers at certain capping points. So I think it's something like level 25 or level 30 or something like that. Say you put all your stats into health, what it'll do is it'll give you an extra 10% health regeneration or life over time, what I think it is. Throughout everything as well, all different categories. Now, this goes 3 layers deep, and as far as I know, the Paragon system is not capped as well. So after you level, you can continually grind and get your character up even more stats. Now, itemization and monsters. I'll jump into the monsters first. By far, this has blown me away the most. The monsters are big, they're large, they're chunky, they're exciting, they're different across all of the maps. It doesn't feel like you're constantly fighting the same group of mobs, which is outstanding for a closed beta in my opinion. They have their own kind of unique quirks about them as well. For example, the bulls can charge you and break your Whirlwind. Lots of different features that I do really like about it. Now, unlike most MMOs where you are picking mobs off and it does take a while to kill, this plays like Diablo. You will absolutely destroy mobs and kill stuff very, very quickly. The grinding is the same as well. It's not like your traditional MMO. You will level up very, very fast. Now, itemization. So far, because it's in the early game, I can understand why the items are the way that they are. And to be honest, once again, I mean, they're pretty much the exact same as Diablo when you are playing for, say, the first 20 levels. You might get plus 2 or 3 to strength, plus 3 to health, or whatever. Once you hit, say, level 15 to 20, you do start to see items that offer a little bit more unique stats when it comes to it. For example, say plus 7% crit damage. Pretty much exactly what you would expect from Diablo. So I'm looking forward to seeing the loot towards the end of the game. Yeah. So I'm not a traditional MMO guy. I think if you are into MMOs and like the Diablo style combat, this game will just exceed your expectations. It's ridiculous how satisfying it is. It's so much more, it's a way faster paced game than a traditional MMO. When I first got into the game, it's quite overwhelming because they've got all the systems that you would expect. There's so much to learn at the same time. With the, you know, the weird items, you know, they've got their own gems, crafting systems, you can dismantle stuff. craft things, buy items, you can add gems into your weapons. All of this crazy stuff that you do have to learn over time, and I've, to be honest, just scratched the surface. Can party up. They've got shared guild stash. While I'm here, I will talk about stash space, because I know it's kind of a big thing in Diablo. Stash space is pretty good. It sits in your inventory. You actually have, I believe, 3 tabs when you first start. I don't know if that extends even further. Imagine the standard Diablo inventory, but times 3. Now, you also have to remember that items that you pick up only take up 1 cube of the Tetris of your inventory. So you can hold quite a lot of stuff and you can sit in the game for a long time. You've also got your own personal stash that you can deposit things back in town. Now, so far, I've explored pretty much all of the first area of the map. When it comes to questing, it's very, very basic, and I appreciate the questing for being as basic as it is. I don't like the idea of it being a fetch quest and go and click 10 of these and whatever. That stuff's gonna get pretty boring, but the focus isn't really on that, doing minor quests here and there. It's all about going into, I'm just gonna call them rifts for now, but I'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, when you do go into questing, it is kind of like, hey, can you go over to this area of the map, kill 3 of these and kill 2 of these? The differences between New Legend and other MMOs is, it's like it cut that process in half. So instead of like go and collect 13 boar furs and go and kill 10 of these, it's more like, hey, go to this area of the map and kill 3 of these and go kill 2 of these and you're done. Very, very quick, very, very simple. It'll also display where you need to go on the mini map as well. So you're never lost, you're never trying to hunt for stuff. It does a pretty good job. In fact, it even shows you individual monsters that it wants you to kill as a little red blip on the map. Now, some other quality of life features which I did really appreciate was the fact that you can auto run, so you can open up your map, click on an area or a location, your character will automatically walk there. Not only that, you can actually go into your inventory, your character sheet, your pet sheet, anything that you want to do while running. It doesn't break that movement. So I did find that pretty handy. I didn't do a lot of long distance traversing, but what I did find towards the end was I kind of out-leveled the area where I was, where I wasn't really getting experience killing mobs on the way. So I did use that feature quite a lot. Now, above the questing, what are you supposed to friggin' do in the game? Well, so far, I haven't felt the overarching storyline because of the amount of time that I've spent. But what I can say is that within every major map, they've got all these tiny little areas or dungeons scattered throughout everywhere. So there might be 5 or 6 on the same map, and these essentially work exactly the same as rifts in Diablo, but are significantly shorter. Now, this is where you are going to find most of your loot, and you're also going to get these gems, which kind of work out to be like bloodstones, where you can gamble with Kadala. You can actually do that in this game too, and that's where you get it. So essentially, they're usually 2 layers, where you'll go and kill a new group of mobs, which is what you're seeing in the background right now. And then towards the end, you can go ahead and kill, let's say, the Rift Guardian or whatever it's called. Most of these seem to be kind of reskinned or the same hero, although I have to say I have been through a couple of different maps, and at one point I got this huge fox phoenix looking thing, kind of something you would see in like an anime or something like that. So it is different enough to still feel pretty special. Now, there's also a pet system in the game as well. Unlike Diablo 3, these pets actually contribute to your character, but in very small ways, kind of like the followers in D3, where it's something very small, like plus 3% health, plus 2% of something else, whatever. You can actually level these up, and you can find new pets along the way. I believe you actually have to quest to find these as well. Overall, guys, I am genuinely pretty blown away at what New Legend has to offer. Once again, talking to you guys who are directly fans of Diablo, this might not fulfill that role. You know, this isn't the next Diablo 4. But if you're an MMO fan and you like the Diablo style combat, it really does do a great job at being an MMO first, but speeding up the whole process with very fast action combat. The skills feel extremely smooth. The audio design is quite nice. there's actually quite a lot of people playing the game as well. You shouldn't have any trouble finding party members. I didn't actually party up at all during my playtime, except for a small session that I did with my friend who I play other games with. So other than that, I didn't really get amongst the community too much, but there's a lot of people there. It wouldn't take a long time to be able to find your own space and maybe get some friends going and do some rifts together. Anyway, guys, that pretty much wraps up my first hour. I'm probably going to play some more New Legend, and I'll share more as I go. I hope this has been a pretty descriptive guide on the game anyway. I hope you get an understanding if New Legend is for you. Thanks for joining me as always. See you next time.